Our second reading of this Sunday is from St. Paul's letter to the Philippians. It's a letter written when Paul was under house arrest. Where or when he was under house arrest, we don't know. Paul got into trouble a lot during his own ministry. Overall, though, the letter indicates that even so, he's doing all right. That's what the short section of the letter read today says. Brothers and sisters, I know how to live in humble circumstances. I know how to live with abundance, and in all things I've learned the secret of being well-fed or going hungry, of living in abundance or being in need. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. Paul's in humble circumstances as he writes to the Philippians, but he's okay. Maybe in these days of the pandemic, we should ask what was Paul's secret in living in humble circumstances. These days, a lot of people may feel they're living in humble circumstances under house arrest. The pandemic has certainly curtailed the way we live, and for some more than others. But first of all, you can see from this letter that Paul feels that God's with him, strengthening him. The letter to the Philippians has a beautiful hymn saying that Jesus did not hold on to God, something to be grasped, but took the form of a slave. He humbled himself, even dying on a cross. He entered into the darkest places of human life. Paul must have felt that Jesus was with him. In the dark places, he found himself. God was with him. Even in his need, in the humble circumstances, he wasn't alone. God was with him, sustaining him and promising resurrection, raising him up. There's another thing we might learn from Paul. All through his letter, he keeps thanking people for supporting him. In other words, he knew the value of friends and human support. That's something that we should know too, how to reach out to others, to support them, and to find our support in them. We need to stick together. Other people keep us going. Paul, at the end of his letter, speaks of the supreme good of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. He depends on faith to know him and the power of his resurrection and sharing in his sufferings. So during this pandemic, we need to depend on faith. We shouldn't forget God's with us. We need to keep that in mind. We shouldn't forget others either. If we do, we'll learn Paul's secret. I can do all things in him who strengthens me.